Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Janetta, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our minutes, our message today comes from our minister, Reverend Cheryl Fair. And now here's Reverend Cheryl.
Thank you, Johnetta, and welcome everyone who is with me in the Zoom room right now. We are in the midst of quite a storm here in Central Virginia, a winter storm. So I'm glad to see that there are folks showing up who are warm and safe. And hello to everyone who is watching on YouTube, wherever you're watching from and whenever you are watching. We appreciate having you as a part of the energy that is Unity of Fredericksburg. Today, our broadcast date is Sunday, January the 25th, and I want to start off by calling your attention to a special thing that begins on Friday, January the 30th. Is the first day of the season for nonviolence. Now, in 2025, here at Unity of Fredericksburg, in the entire first quarter of the year, we followed the season for nonviolence, which is 64 days. And I want to bring it to your attention because of the energy in the world today. Following the season for nonviolence might be something that really calls to some of you, and I definitely suggest it. Let me tell you a little bit more about it if it's new for you. The Season for Nonviolence is a global grassroots campaign dedicated to raising awareness about the transformative power of nonviolence. So the Season of Nonviolence was established by Arun Gandhi as a yearly event celebrating the philosophies and the lives of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. So the season marks the 64 days between the anniversary of the assassinations of Gandhi on January 30th and King on April the 4th. So if you do an internet search for the Season for Nonviolence, and in particular, if you search for the Gandhi Institute, you'll find information about the Season for Nonviolence that includes daily themes and meditations and all kind of things that you can connect with if this is something that speaks to you with what's going on in our world today. So let me share a quote. I shared quite a few quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. last week, so here's one more. Nonviolence is the absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bash. It is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. So there's some wisdom from MLK. And here's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Nonviolence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. So We'll hear more from Mahatma Gandhi, I know for sure, next Sunday, because we're going to be talking about the practice of walking. And walking was one of the nonviolent practices that Gandhi modeled for us. So, more on that next week. Today's title for my talk today is Being Present to Life. And this is the first phrase of the annual theme here at Unity of Fredericksburg for 2026, where there are three phrases. The first phrase is, we are present to life. So throughout this year, we will explore this idea of being present in many ways. So we will look at how to be present with people from all walks of life. We'll look at being present with events that are happening in our world. And we will look at being present in personal and individual ways. And of course, we will look at being present on a spiritual level. So today, as we start off with this, looking at being present, we're going to start off with the personal and the spiritual level. So that's what we're up to today. So, what does being present mean? That's a good place to start. So, when I was a kid and I was in school, being present meant raising my hand when roll was called to say I was here. Present, right? Anyone have to do that in school? And of course, the word present or present has lots of different meanings. Most of us have an understanding of being present as being attentive, awake, and aware in this moment, here and now. And we do that by being present to the wisdom of our bodies, right? Feeling the sensations of our bodies. And when our body tells us, oh, we got some pain here, or discomfort, or that feels wonderful. Um, all of the things that we do with our bodies, a nice cup of tea or whatever, all the things our body tells us. So, and then we use those sensations that our body gives us through our senses and whatever to guide us in making choices, right? Yes. Being present is also being present to our emotions, feeling our feelings. And our feelings are wonderful guides for us, so showing us that what we're involved in is in alignment with what we believe and what we want or not. So, using those feelings as a guide, again, for making choices in our life and being present to the activity of our human minds. That would be mind with a little m, right? Our human mind, noticing our thoughts and our thought patterns. And then, as we notice, then we can use that information as a guide for making choices. And also, being present is something that we do to be present with divine mind. So that would be M, a big M, mind with a big M. And how we do that is by having a regular spiritual practice, a practice of quieting the human mind and expanding our awareness of divine mind. And that's when we can rely on all that is, that which we call God, divine love, whatever language you have for it. That is what is meant to be our ultimate and absolute guide for making choices in this human life. Here's a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. But it's all about that attentiveness, right? Paying attention. So, why is being present important? Why are we talking about that? Well, practicing being present is has lots and lots of benefits for us in our human lives. It's kind of like taking our spiritual vitamins, right? So there's lots and lots of data out there from lots of sources that show us that being present helps to reduce stress, anxiety, and overthinking. Anyone have any of those? Stress, anxiety, overthinking? Anyone? Being present helps ease that. Practicing being present increases happiness, creativity, and productivity. Many, many studies show that practicing being present helps us develop a deeper sense of empathy and therefore help us have stronger and deeper and more nuanced relationships. And practicing being present gives us a greater sense of appreciation, gratitude for life, for savoring the goodness that is present for us in every moment. So, those are all kinds of good things that can come about when we go deeper into practicing being present. Here's a quote from Eckhart Tolle. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. So that's a good thought to go with. So we've been talking about sort of the human aspects of being present. So let's shift gears right now. Let's talk about the spiritual and metaphysical perspective. So I'm using as a reference point today, not so much with direct quotes, but general reference, this book called Point of Power. And this is by the wonderful, recently deceased Unity teacher and minister Paul Hasselbeck. Point of Power, and the subtitle here is Practical Metaphysics to Help You Transform Your Life and Realize Your Magnificence. So, one of the things that Paul Hasselbeck shows us in this book, by the way, was published in 2007, is that the present moment is the only time in which consciousness actually functions. So we often talk about Christ consciousness or divine love consciousness. We talk about consciousness maintenance here in Unity because we know our consciousness is made up of our thoughts and feelings and beliefs and attitudes. But here's Hasselbeck pointing out that the only point in time in which consciousness actually functions is right here, right now. So, and he says, you cannot think a thought yesterday. You cannot feel a feeling tomorrow. You can only choose in this moment. Now, establishing that consciousness only functions in this moment, so your spiritual power happens always and only in the present moment. In the present moment. Let me do that little list again. You cannot think a thought yesterday. You cannot feel a feeling tomorrow. You can only choose in this moment. And that's why it's so important to pay attention, stay awake, be aware. And when we're talking on the spiritual level, I'm not talking about managing the outer world. I'm not talking about paying attention and staying awake and being aware of there's a winter storm happening. No. We're talking about being present spiritually, being attentive, awake, and aware of the one presence and one power that we talk about every week here in Unity. And being present means realizing you are that presence and that power at the point of you. It's not outside of you. It is you. It is expressing in you as you in this present moment. And the present moment is the only moment in which we can really realize our divine nature. So, practicing being present is essential. And let me offer you a paraphrase from Paul Hasselbeck. Our point of power is always the present moment. because this is the only place where consciousness acts, choices are made, and transformation becomes possible. All right. So, how can we practice being present? Yes, good question, right? How can we do, like, tell me how, tell me how. So I'm just gonna, there are so many different ways. I'm just going to offer three. That should be enough for us to, take a bite out of the apple here this morning and get something out of this. So one way in which you can practice being present is concentrate on one thing at a time. So, right now, concentrate and just notice your body sitting wherever you are. Notice the room that you are in and set aside any distractions that are going on. If you have, got your little phone going on, you got something, just concentrate on being here right now. So other things you can concentrate on when you're eating, like don't have the TV or the reading, would just concentrate on tasting your food. Concentrate on when, if you're, let's say you're washing some dishes, just concentrate in that moment, feel the water, feel the, and concentrate. So that's one way in which you can practice being present, is to just really focus on whatever it is that's in front of you at the moment and feel the feelings. Feel your body in that moment, feel how you're feeling emotionally, and just concentrate. So, a second way in which you can practice being present, because practicing is kind of like exercise, right? In order for us to be confident and competent, it's important to exercise those muscles. So this is how we can exercise the muscles of being present. And one core one that anyone can do anytime, anywhere, is mindful breathing. Focus on the sensation of your breath as an anchor to the current moment. One of the images I like to have is we know that all that is expresses at the point of us, but is also expressing at the point of everything that surrounds us. So I think of breathing in and connecting, breathing out and connecting, breathing in and connect, breathe out and connect. So just practice taking some moments to just do that. Just punctuate your day with moments of that, particularly if you feel yourself getting out of whack about something. Just take a few moments to practice mindful breathing. And the third one I want to suggest is engaging your senses. So let's go back to noticing yourself sitting in your seat. So just do that, take a breath. And now just kind of take a moment to tune into your senses. For a moment, soften your gaze or close your eyes if you wish, and just listen. What are you hearing? Just notice. We're not judging whether it's good or bad or what's happening over there. We're just like, oh, there's that sound. There's this sound. Just notice. Open your eyes and just look around the space that you are in. Notice the walls and the ceiling and where the walls meet the ceiling. And if there's a window or if there's a door or a chair or whatever it is that you have, just look and notice and let your eyes move around to notice everything in the room. You can also take the time to focus on, if you have something to drink or eat, to, focus on taste, focus on smell. So just taking a moment to just engage your senses, engage your sense of touch, and actually see if you can feel the clothing on your body and where it might be putting some pressure and where it might be fuzzy and comfortable, where it might be a little scratchy, just taking time to notice. And when you're doing that, then you're not doing all these other things that your head can get busy with, right? You're not worrying about this or that or what's on the news or anything. You're just taking a few and this is what's important is doing this practice so that your kind of all of your human brain can rest for a minute and just focus on your breath. So those are 3 ways that you can practice. So concentrate, mindful breathing, or engage your senses. There are a lot more, but that's all we're going to cover today. Now, so let's talk about how do I know when I'm not being present? So I can notice like, oh, this is when I'm not being present. So if you find yourself overly focused on planning or worrying about the future, then it's likely you're not focused in the present moment. Now, we're not saying that we don't need to manage our human lives. So, as I've mentioned a couple times today, here in Central Virginia, there's a winter storm coming through. We're not saying that you don't make a list a few days ago, make sure you have the supplies, but once you've done that, then let's focus on being present. Let's not continue to worry and look and monitor because it is what it is. You've done what you need to do. So this this kind of over focus on the future can show up as running scenarios in your head of like, oh, I'm going to do this or this, or and rehearsing how you want things to go or how you're worried that things might go, asking questions repetitively in your head. What if this? What if that? It can show up as losing things, forgetting things, feeling distracted because your brain is so busy doing this stuff rather than being in the present moment, noticing where your glasses are, where your keys are, because your head is doing something else. So this is a, red flag that it's like, I'm not in the present moment. From our friend Paul Hasselbeck, he would point out the future is shaped by present consciousness. So you really are only ever in the present moment. So creating the future you desire happens by actively choosing what's in your consciousness right now. So if you would like to have a smooth and peaceful day, choose that in this moment. And that's how you create that peaceful day, right? Your next experience arises from the vibration of the belief, the thoughts of what you are holding in this moment. So rather than worrying, claim you're good in this moment. Claim that peacefulness that you would like to have in your life, or whatever it is, do that in this present moment. And you can do one of these practices. How do you get yourself back? Well, make a point to just notice, catch yourself. Oops, there I am. Now, don't be bashing yourself about it because we all go through these shifts several times every day, all the time. So just catch yourself, notice, and do one of the practice. Okay, let me just breathe for a moment. Let me just do that. Okay, so here's a quote, another quote from Eckhart Tolle. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. So, now another style of not being present is when you find yourself ruminating over the past. When you find yourself kind of stuck in a loop of memories, dwelling in regret or remorse. What if I had done this? What if they had said that? Again, it can show up as losing track of things, forgetting to do things, feeling overwhelmed. Again, from our friend Paul Hasselbeck, he would say the past has no power except the power that we give it. So memories are actually just thoughts that we are having right now. And When we revisit the past, we're not traveling back in time, we're generating a present moment thought about something that once occurred. So we can guide ourselves in this moment by choosing another thought. All right, so you can help yourself, again, get back to the present moment by doing one of these practices we've talked about. Just sit for a few minutes and notice the air on your skin and the room around you, and just take a moment to calm and engage with right here, right now. Here's a quote from Jan Glidewell. You can clutch the past so tightly to your chest that it leaves your arms too full to embrace the present. So, the more we practice being present, the more grounded and settled we will feel in our lives. So, my friends, listen to your body, be attentive to your emotions, notice your thoughts and your thought patterns, and most importantly, have a spiritual practice, even if that spiritual practice is as simple as one of these, ways of addressing things that we're talking about today. Even if your spiritual practice is just focusing on your breath, just have it be that, and keep reminding yourself that there's something beyond whatever it is that's bouncing around in your human brain. Here's another quote from Thich Nhat Hanh. Life is available only in the present moment. If you abandon the present moment, you cannot live the moments of your daily life deeply. So I'm going to give you one more practice. That's a very powerful tool. And we know this, my friends, and it is gratitude, right? So make it a practice of noticing what is good and being thankful. When we do that, we create a field of vibration and consciousness that then attracts us to find more good things. So do it however way you like to do it. Make a gratitude list in your mind or on paper, and begin and end your day with a reflection of all the things you're grateful for. In the words of the late, great Maya Angelou, be present in all things and thankful for all things. All right. I have one more quote for us before we head into our time of meditation, and it's my favorite quote of the day for today. It's a Winnie the Pooh quote from A. Milne. Pooh asked, "What day is it?" Piglet squeaked and replied, "It's today." "Ah," said Pooh, "my favorite day." So, as we move into meditation, I'm going to be using a meditation from this lovely book, This Life is Yours. This is by the Reverend Linda Martella Whitsett and her daughter Alicia Whitsett. And since we've since I finished my talk with this quote about today, and today being my favorite day, this is an affirmation and meditation for today. So take a deep breath. Take another one. If you wish, you can allow your outer eyes to drift closed or soften. And listen. This day is for me. The hours I will live through today are for me. The day is laid out ahead of me, a wild landscape, a blank canvas. The me that is more than me, the me that is pure in spirit, imbued with all wisdom and love, sets the scene and takes the stage today. May every decision I will make today nurture well-being. grateful that I can choose my outlook and attitude. I tame the wilds and calm the storms. I walk in wholeness and paint a portrait of my true identity. Well, let's take those thoughts with us right now into a few minutes in the silence together. Today, I will attend to the needs of my body with particular care. I will lovingly support myself with healthful choices. I will choose inspiration as my guide for anything I choose to do today. I know that whatever I let in by viewing it, reading it, hearing it, or participating in it affects me. I want my mind and heart engaged in life enhancing, meaning making moments. I choose to live deliberately today. And so, my friends, we are going to finish off our time today with an affirmation. So when I make an affirmation, I like to put my hand right on my heart space to make sure that the affirmation is anchored in my body and in my heart as well as in my head. So here's the affirmation. I am present to life and I am grateful. Say it with me, my friends. I am present to life and I am grateful. One more time, huh? I am present to life and I am grateful. So I am, and I see you all being present to life in wonderful ways. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to hand it back to our friend Johnetta.
All right. I'll be right there. Thank you so much.
There you are.
Okay. All right. I'll get it together. And thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for watching, and see